Hello, everybody. First off, I want to say thank you to everyone who's joined right now. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Second off, if my audio is a little bit delayed, let me know, tell me, but also just say if it affects you or not, if it bothers you. If you can see the quality of the video part has sort of increased because I'm actually using my camera to stream right now. But I'm pretty sure it's delayed. I'm not exactly sure why. I think it might just be because I need like a straight like USB cord connected directly to my computer to fix it all. I'm not sure what settings I need to adjust on my camera to make it better. But yeah, this is what I'm rolling with right now. I hope this is okay. I hope it looks good. I hope everyone out there who's watching right now is doing okay. So far I see Stranger Boy in here. Yo, what's up? Yo, Stranger Boy. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Did you see the Halloween Kills trailer? I saw it and thought it showed too much, but I will say it brought my excitement level back up a bit. So I did watch it. I was initially planning on preparing for whenever it came out to do an initial trailer reaction, like give my first reaction on camera. But to be honest with you, I went to go see F9 last night, and as soon as I walk out into the parking lot, I get a notification that this trailer drops. I was just too pumped that I just watched it right there in my car. And I got to tell you, I was really happy with it. I thought it looked really good. I get the common criticism that people think it shows too much, and that may very well be. But I've also heard a ton of rumors out there that there's a leaked script, and that what is in that script is nowhere near everything shown in the trailer. That there is so much more to come, and I think that they really just have a lot going for them this time around. Some of those shots and some of the composition of it all, and just some of the sequences that it seems are going to be in there, it's going to be crazy. Like just in the beginning when there's the firefighters trying to save Michael, and then Michael like takes the saw to the one guy's face, and you see like the cracked shield across his head. So much of that worked. Also, like the pumpkin head mask, like a direct homage to Season of the Witch. There's a lot of potential for this movie to be good. I'm very curious to see how it is. Again, guys, let me know if you think my audio is too out of sync for your liking. I will go to the different camera, but sadly, it's just a lesser quality camera. But yeah, Jennifer Vega, what's up, Jaren? What's up, Jennifer? I hope you're having a great night. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Josephine DeMarco, hey Jaren, what were your thoughts on Luca? So I will say that I do have a review up on my channel already, so if you want to hear my full thoughts, it's definitely more articulated there and well thought out. But I guess just short summary of what I thought was Luca. I think it's okay. I don't think it's anything special necessarily. I feel like where there was a ton of great visuals and potential, I felt like they just never really explored any of the possibilities that they really set up for themselves. And there also wasn't just enough development for me. Like, I don't understand how it's just acceptable that the sea monsters can turn into humans as soon as they touch water. I didn't like the cliche villain. I didn't like the fact that the parents come to Earth to try to find their son to keep him hidden, but to find their son, they're dunking a bunch of random kids in the water. There's just a lot of script issues that really just kind of bothered me a bit when watching it. I definitely think kids will enjoy it enough. Some movies like this are only toward kids. It's not always forwarded towards adults as well. We're not always going to get a soul, and that's okay. Just for me, I was a bit underwhelmed. That's all I'll say. Network 98, hey, what's up? Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Lee Vlog, hey, Jaren, if you had the chance to meet Chris Stuckman and talk to him for 10 minutes, what would you say to him? Number one, if I had the chance to meet Chris Stuckman, that'd be huge. I definitely admire him and respect what he's doing in the space, and the fact that he's trying to branch out and go above and beyond just movie reviews. He's actually trying to make those movies that he's critiqued for so long. If I had 10 minutes to talk with him, I'd probably just geek out about a movie that we have a common interest in. Maybe ask him how it was that he was able to work up the courage to sort of branch out and continue to push and thrive in the YouTube space, even with everything going on in his personal life. Because obviously, if you haven't seen his backstory with the Jehovah's Witnesses and all that, there was a lot of things holding him back. So I guess ask him a bit about that journey. But really, just if I had the opportunity to talk to him, I don't know. It'd just be a spur of the moment thing. That would be really cool, though. He's definitely an inspiration for me. What is your favorite movie this year now? Also, Brian Hernandez, thank you so much for joining. My favorite movie this year so far is In the Heights. I had a ton of fun with that movie. I think second place, very close to the number one spot, is A Quiet Place 2. It's the movie season now. We're getting back into it. All the movies are getting released once again, and there's a lot of good ones out there. And the past few weeks in a row, I've seen some very, very good ones, and there's still some really good ones to come, especially in July. July is going to be packed, but right now, yes, my number one is In the Heights. Taco Bell, he says welcome. No, welcome to you, Taco Bell. I appreciate your entry. Do you want a burrito? I gotta say I'm more of a quesarito dude, so if you have one of those, hey, hit me up. Do you think that leaked scripts will become the norm? I don't know. I don't think it'll ever become the norm. Like, I don't think any studio just sets out for their entire script of their biggest film to be released. It definitely seems like it's happening more often. It seems like maybe some films do it to get more of a push or more so of some sort of buzz, because those people who will take the time to read them will find the potential in the movie and promote it before it's even out. And I that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a norm, because I don't think most studios would just do that often. But it has been happening more recently, so I think there's a tactic. I think there's a strategy behind it. We'll just have to see how it sort of pans out. Now we got Burger King in here. But come on, where's McDonald's? Where's Wendy's? I need Chick-fil-A in here. Get out of here, Taco Bell. I don't know, Burger King. I'm not necessarily impressed with your stuff, but thank you for stopping by. I'm excited for Halloween Kills too. Yeah, I'm super glad you're happy for that. It's definitely one of my most anticipated of the rest of the year. It's gonna be crazy good. Are you gonna watch Old? Absolutely. Anytime M. Night Shyamalan is directing anything, anytime his name is attached to a project, I've got to watch it. Somebody asked me, who was it that asked me earlier? Was it? It was Lee Vlog. Asked me what would I talk about with Chris Stuckman if I had 10 minutes to sit down with him. Possibly M. Night Shyamalan, because I know he's very passionate about him as a filmmaker, and so am I. So am I. I just said so am I. But yeah, I love M. Night Shyamalan. Everything he does. I like the fact that he's always pushing the boundaries and not afraid to take a risk and step outside of the norm. So yeah, I'm excited for Old. I don't know about the trailer, but I think that the movie is probably going to be decent. Yeah, Luca was cute, but Pixar could do better. That's the thing. I don't want to be somebody who's like, no, it's not good because it's not on the same level of Toy Story or Soul. No, because not every movie is going to be. Those are like, they're hard to come by, that quality of a movie. I just wanted a little bit more of a good time, and I didn't feel like narrative-wise it was engaging enough for me. I couldn't connect with it the way I hoped, and that's all I can say. I'm not going to bash it. It's not the worst Pixar movie, but I would expect a little bit better from them. Are you getting a screener for Black Widow? The answer is yes. So funny enough, I was sent a screening invite to go in person Monday, but Monday is my 18th birthday. So there was already things I had planned with my family to go out to eat, and I was just like, I can't really cancel this to go. But luckily enough, they were able to send me a screener link. So Monday around 3, I think they said my time, they're going to send me a screener link, so I'll be able to watch it. The embargo lifts Tuesday, so I will have a review for Black Widow on Tuesday. This is a movie that I've been very outward and public with the fact that I don't think it's necessary, and I'm not necessarily excited for it because of the fact that we know her fate ultimately, but I've heard some buzz around it, and I'm still a bit skeptical, but my hopes have increased just a little bit. I'm hoping it's a good time. Jennifer says, In the Heights is my fave from this year, too. So great. I also know that that's so cool that you got to see, I don't want to get his name wrong. Kevin Smits. Is that it? No, I don't know the names. I forgot the names. Jeez. Look at me. I'm such an amateur. Here. Because you got to meet Abuela, and then you got Kevin Rosario. You got to meet Kevin Rosario, right? They were like at your screening. That was so cool. What's his name? Because he's in NYPD Blue. Jimmy Smits. That's what it is. Jimmy Smits. And who's Abuela? I want to get her name right. Funny enough, why is she not in like the top? That is so weird. When I pull up In the Heights, oh, Olga Merediz, that's what it is. I saw her in a movie with Jim Carrey the other day at work. Because I work in an assisted living place, so I take care of older people, and some of the buildings, they have like TVs to where they just watch movies all day. And I saw Abuela on the TV. I've never seen her in another movie before, but that was so cool. It used to be word of mouth spread after the movie came out or a week before release, and now it's way before, thanks to test screenings and script leaks. LOL. Yeah, funny enough, I've never been to a test screening. That's crazy to me. I've always sort of wanted to go just to see what the environment's like, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. Like I said, it's all a marketing strategy. We'll just have to see how more often it occurs. How do you think a movie made by Pepsi would be? I don't know. I think it might start pretty good, but it would fizzle out by the end. Get it, fizz? I'm going to move on. Happy early birthday. Our birthdays are very close. Mine is July 1st. Whoa, that's crazy. Thank you. Happy early birthday to you as well, Jennifer. Do you have any ideas for sort of like video or content that you're going to post for your birthday? I've still been thinking about that hard because last year I did like my favorite movie from every year I've been alive. This year, I don't even know. Like, what other birthday content or like videos based on the years I've been alive could I even make? So if you have any recommendations, if you have any ideas, let me know. My most anticipated Apollo 10.5. I haven't even heard of that. Last Night in Soho, Flea, Soggy Bottom, The French Dispatch, and Dune. So Dune just got pushed to October 22nd, which kind of sucks, but I think it's understandable just because they're giving a little room to breathe with all the releases coming out. But Apollo 10.5, I'm curious to hear what that's about. Last Night in Soho, yes, absolutely. Anything Edgar Wright is going to be great. Anya Taylor-Joy, that looks really, really good. Seems like it's going to be a horror movie, very psychedelic. Flea, that's that animated movie with Riz Ahmed, right? Yeah, that premiered at Sundance. I almost checked it out, but I had to miss it. I'm excited for that one. I definitely think that that's going to be an animated film that could contend for some Oscars. But yeah, that's a great most anticipated list right there. Happy early birthday. My birthday is July 28th, same day as John David Washington. Hey, you're in good company and exactly a month away from mine. That's pretty cool. Brian asks, what is my favorite horror movie? A little film called The Shining. Have you heard of it? That is absolutely my favorite one. Probably one of the better Stephen King film adaptations, even though Stephen King himself hates it. I think it's the best Kubrick movie, and it's just one of the best movies ever made. I love it, and it continues to freak me out every time I watch it. It's just got a great way of building suspense, and everything with Shelley Duvall, behind the scenes stuff, the way that her performance carries out on the big screen, it's all great. All great. Love it. Yes, I got to meet them. And Leslie Grace. Yeah, that's right. Leslie Grace is a favorite of mine. Her and Corey Hawkins, to me, are the dynamic duo in The Heights. They were my favorite. What do you think of James Cameron's Avatar? I think it's fine, but I'm not blown away by it. I understand that at the time that it came out, it was monumental just because of the technology that introduced, but I definitely feel like the spectacle is bigger and more intriguing than the story itself. I wish James Cameron would have went on to make more films than all of the Avatar sequels that he's been sucked up in. Have you seen any Saw movie? Yes, I have. I've seen them all. I enjoy probably about the first three, and I really like Spiral. I think Spiral is my second favorite. The ones in the middle and towards the end really get sort of bonkers. Don't take themselves seriously. They turn into something that feels more like Final Destination. I'm not a fan of those. So the franchise overall is sort of mediocre or middle of the road, but there's a lot of really good gems in the mix. Fun fact about In the Heights, Vanessa, of course, is the love interest, and Lin-Manuel Miranda's wife's name is Vanessa. That's a cool fun fact, and I wonder if he did that purposefully, considering I think that this musical is supposed to be like loosely based off of his life or his upbringing to some extent. I know a lot of it's just sort of um, fictionalized and changed for the big screen and for a Broadway musical, but I feel like there's a lot of roots there that pertain to his life. Zane Winder, Mr. John Stockton in the house. What's up? Thank you for joining, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Nicholas Lloyd, what's up, Jaren? Have you watched Citizen Kane? What's up, Nicholas? Thank you for joining. I have watched Citizen Kane. I'm not a fan, but I will say I liked it more than Mank. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. Similar to Lin-Manuel Miranda and his wife, Vanessa went to high school together but didn't start dating till way after. Hey, that's pretty cool. Look at you with all the facts, all the hidden details. I like that. That's cool. Your birthday is June 29th. Whoa, that's awesome. Happy early birthday to you. I'm going to do my favorite movie from every year I've been alive, but last year for my 18th birthday, I did 18 movies to get to know me, and that was fun. Hey, I might be able to do that this year since I'm turning 18. You're going to be 19. That's crazy. Wow. That's so cool. So yeah, that might be an idea for me. If you give me permission to use it, I'm not sure if I will, but that's definitely something fun I could do. I was thinking about maybe doing that now that you mention it, or maybe like a movie tag of some sort. There's definitely possibilities. I just got to think about it. Do you like cheesy B horror movies? Yes, I do. In fact, my mom sent me this picture of me it was from a couple weeks ago, but it was of this thing I filled out, like an all about me thing that I filled out in about third grade or so. And it was this info sheet. So number one, it was like a slap in the face, like really bringing it back, because all the stuff that was on it is just like reminiscent of what I was like as a child, but at the same time, I'm really nothing like that anymore whatsoever. Let's see if I can find the picture. I don't know if I can. Okay, so yeah, I think it might have been. I don't think I have it anymore. But anyway, so it said like my favorite food, my favorite color, and then went to my favorite movie, and literally in third grade, I said my favorite movie was a movie called The Boogeyman 2. You've probably never heard of it. Honestly, I forgot about it. I didn't even realize it existed. But as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, shoot, I remember this movie. It's definitely a cheesy, straight up B horror movie. It's really bad, but it's schlocky fun. I can't believe that, like, a third grader, I was watching that movie. Like, it's rated R, pretty vulgar, pretty, like, sexual. But yeah, so to answer your question, I've been a big fan of those types of movies for quite some time. Apollo 10 and a Half is an animated movie by Richard Linklater. Wow, okay. I'm intrigued. I might have to check it out. Tell me where it's available to watch. What's your favorite action scene in Fast and Furious? The original ones, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really have a favorite one. I don't really think of them or the action sequences in particular until later on when they get like super, super crazy. Like the one that probably in the franchise that really just like I think about the most is I think when they're in Dubai and Brian and Dom are in the orange Lamborghini and they jump across the skyscrapers. If you know what I'm talking about. That's the one that always kind of sticks in my head first. Furious 7 is also like my favorite of the franchise, I think. I really, really hope Warner Brothers changes their release strategy for Dune and makes it a theatrical exclusive to increase its chances of performing well at the box office. There's a weird thing that happened there because I feel like once they announced, there was some source that I guess was inaccurate. They announced they're like, it will no longer be premiering on at home. It will no longer be doing the HBO Max Premiere Access thing. It'll go straight to theaters. And then like a couple hours later, they debunked that and they're like, nope, it's doing the Premiere Access and to theaters at the same time. So yeah, they've been all over the place. They've changed the dates a ton. Like I said, they changed it again today. I definitely feel like they're trying to figure out what would be best for it, but I don't know. I still feel like people are going to go out and see it just because it is something new and it's a new world to immerse ourselves in, and the potential to really branch off into something big that could become a really big franchise. It's already a big book series. This is the potential that they're thinking, let's be the next Star Wars. Obviously, it'll never get to that extent, but they could have something special on their hands. So I really hope that it does well. I do. Fun fact, I share a birthday with Lone Gruffud, aka Mr. Fantastic from the first two Fantastic Four movies. Oh, okay. How do you say his name? Lone Gruffud? Gruffud. Okay, I think that's right. Have you heard of a movie called The Clock? I think it's a criminally underrated classic romance film. Oh, you know what? I have just because I saw it on Blu-ray the other day. I was going through Amazon looking at it, and I saw that the cover was just really cool. The Clock on Blu-ray. Let's see. Oh, shoot. No, that's the big clock. So, no, I haven't heard of The Clock. Let's look this up. I want to read a synopsis here. The Clock. Is it from 1945? Yep. While on a 2-day leave in New York City, soldier Joe Allen meets Secretary Alice Mayberry when she trips over him. They hit it off, and Alice decides to show Joe around. As they tour the sights of New York, they begin to fall in love. That's cool. This movie looks very just heartwarming. Robert Walker. Oh, Judy Garland. Shoot, that's cool. I might need to check that out. Thank you for the recommendation. Dimension Scott's in here. How's it going, Jaren? Cleaning the dishes. Dude, I appreciate that you're watching the stream while you're washing the dishes. Hope it helps time pass by a little bit. I know that washing dishes is not necessarily the most fun thing to do, but if you're helping your parents out, that's always a big, important thing to do. So, thank you for joining. Justin Halen. Avatar was the most boring movie. People lost their crap back in 2009 for nothing. And because of Avatar, theaters are still pushing 3D, which nobody cares about. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why the movie was so popular, is because of that 3D aspect. And probably for about 5 years or so, 3D was huge. Well, I'd say up until about after, maybe longer than 5 years. I'd say probably up until about after The Force Awakens came out, because I remember there was a big thing when that was released on physical media. Everyone got the 3D edition. It phased out quick. Like, I remember there was a point where me and my family bought a 3D flat screen TV, and I think the first movie we got was like Journey to the Center of the Earth with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and we watched it and we were like blown away. We also got Life of Pi, but then I remember after about the first month of owning it, we didn't watch it anymore. We just kept standard definition. So it was definitely the spectacle, like I said. I don't know if anybody was necessarily concerned about the plot. The plot's not terrible, but it's also not my cup of tea. Unpopular opinion. I liked Mank a lot. No, I definitely think there's that group of people out there that feel the same way as you do, and I totally respect that opinion. I wanted to love it, especially coming from David Fincher. I feel like it was definitely more of a niche sort of executed film and genre film. Movies about making movies can be very interesting. This one was just already about a movie that I'm not a fan of, so it lost me there. But I definitely feel like this is one of David Fincher's more passionate movies, just because the attachment with his past father. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot to enjoy there, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Worst movie you have ever seen? I think it's called The Starving Games. It's a parody of the Hunger Games. It's such a random thing, but you know what? It's hard for me to think about movies that I hate. Of course you can do that idea. Can't wait to see what video you do for your birthday. Hey, I appreciate it, Jennifer. Thank you again. That's a really good idea. And I can't wait to watch your video as well. Sasha Raquel is in here. Everybody, make sure to go subscribe to her. Show her some love. She's really just blowing up. She's doing a great job. I haven't watched your High School Musical, the series. I said that. That's a mouthful. I'm glad I said it without stuttering. I haven't watched that review yet, but I'm excited to watch it. How's your day been? Opinions on grilled cheese sandwiches. Okay, my day has been pretty good. I had work, but now I get to hop on here and talk to you guys, so it makes it worth it. My opinion on grilled cheese sandwiches, they smack so hard. I love those. Like, it also depends on the cheese you use. Sometimes, like, Good American's good, but then cheddar cheese is so good too. It also depends on the bread. You got to butter the bread right. Like, I like it, but it's got to be cooked so specifically to be really, really good. My mom makes some pretty good ones. Yeah, I mean, grilled cheese. We live in the South. Sasha, we live in Georgia. That's a staple. Are you looking more forward to Dune or Last Night in Soho? I'd probably say Dune, just because it's a blockbuster. It's got a great cast. Denis Villeneuve has produced some amazing movies. And like I said, just the hype around it and the potential for it to be something really, really big to go on for years to come. Pretty fun. Sasha is asking the good questions. She's asking the questions everyone wants to know. Hype stream, by the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Zane. I always have fun with these. I took like a week or two off. It just got piled up in my personal life. I almost said, my camera died. Did my camera die or did it shut off? There we go. Okay, I think it just shut off. It's got like a sleep timer or something, apparently. I'll have to adjust the settings just a little bit for future streams. But yeah, I went off like, I did 2 weeks without the streams, and I really missed them. Just personal life got piled up a bit. I had to do a bunch of other content, but we're back. We're back now. I'll have another stream on Sunday. I love these. These are highlights of my week. Okay, if you like cheesy horror movies, I recommend Bloody Birthday. I've been wanting to check that out, as well as like Sleepaway Camp. And there's other movie that I heard of today. Me and a coworker were actually talking about it. It was called, what was it called? I gotta look it up now, because like it was crazy. Just like the plot itself. Society came out in 1989, starring Billy Warlock. Absolutely insane. There's a lot of cheesy horror movies I need to check out. Apollo 10.5 will be on Netflix. I need to request a screener and watch that. That'd be great. Do you have a favorite Richard Linklater movie other than School of Rock? So the Before trilogy is in my top 10 trilogies of all time. All those movies I think are perfect. Other than that, I would have to say Boyhood. I think Boyhood is very flawed, and again, it's more so the idea and the execution of it more than the script and everything itself. Like, I think the script has some issues. It tends to be a little bit boring, maybe overacted a bit, but there's something about it, just the fact that it was filmed over the course of 12 years that, I don't know, you can attach to it. And especially just me being through some of those moments in my life, being able to connect to the character, it made it feel very real. So I enjoy that movie. Have you ever seen the Before trilogy? Yeah, I love that. Have you heard of or seen Bringing Up Baby? I have heard of it. I have not seen it. How are you doing? I am doing great. How are you doing, future filmmaker 39480 or Josh? Hope you're doing well. Did you get any movies on Prime Day? I did. I will have a Blu-ray collection at the end of the month. My first Blu-ray collection in quite some time. A mix of movies that I got on Prime Day and movies that I just bought out of my own will that I was just like, you know what? It's time to pull the trigger. And I think 2 or 3 movies that were sent to me from studios. I'm lucky enough to be getting sent more physical media from studios, meaning physical media reviews and content will be a constant on my channel. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm really getting back into it. I gotta credit a little bit my friend Jeff at Films at Home for getting me back into physical media collecting, because I took a bit of a break, but I'm getting into it now. Like, it's just fun, and I like diving into the special features of stuff again. So look out for a Blu-ray collection update at the end of the month. Thoughts on the Karen movie? Okay, so this is very interesting. This is something that, number one, like, some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube are the Karen compilations, and even people reacting to the Karen compilations. But the funny thing about it is, my mom's name is Karen. And when this thing started getting popular, she gets so offended every time somebody says, "Okay, Karen." And she wonders, like, do people assume that I'm a Karen? I am a Karen, but I'm not the Karen. I am the Karen, but I'm not a Karen. Like, my name's Karen, but I don't act like a Karen. So she's like so worked up about it at times, and I'm like, you need to go to the courthouse and change your name. So I told her about the movie, and she's like, oh my goodness, people are gonna be making fun of me. And I'm like, Mom, it's not you. But I don't know, that's just the way it goes through her head. It's funny. I watched an old interview where, I want to say his name right, Lone Grufford was on Conan, and he mentioned how you would pronounce it. Maybe I need to watch that Conan interview, because I'm struggling. Have you watched the movie The Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro? Classic. So good. Have you heard of a zombie movie called Cooties? If you haven't, I highly recommend it if you like movies that don't take itself too seriously. I have heard of it. I might buy it soon, because then again, I was scrolling through Amazon and I saw the Blu-ray, but I have not watched it. Are you familiar with a YouTuber called Mid-Level Media? Yes, absolutely. Love that guy. He does these physical media reports every single week. Always watch his stuff. The dude's just personality is what carries his content, and he's got an outstanding collection. The dude's great. I love watching his stuff. Do you have a least favorite movie of all time? I think I answered this earlier. The Starving Games, a Hunger Games parody. It's really bad, but I don't know. Like, all the movies that I don't like, I normally just forget about them. Like, the ones I think about often are the ones that I like, so I don't really dwell on the bad ones. I just kind of erase them from my memory. But yeah, maybe, I guess the Starving Games, which is a very weird one, but that's what I got off the top of my head. Unpopular opinion. I didn't love Train to Busan. I thought it was okay. That's something I understand. Korean cinema also isn't for everyone. I know it's like a very like niche genre. Even though, in my opinion, they make some of the best films ever. Like, they make some of the best entertainment there is out there, especially in the horror genre. I love Train to Busan, but I get that. Hey, no judgment towards you. I reacted to the latest new trailer for Halloween Kills. It got copyrighted, but that's fine. I'm not monetized. I need to check it out. I need to watch that. What do you think about the possibility of politics infused into the future of the MCU, with Loki being gender fluid and etc.? Things are about to get cringy. Here's my thing. I don't like it when a plot is totally focused completely on politics. I don't like when they're trying to shove an agenda down your throat regardless of what side of the spectrum it is on. I don't care if it's more conservative or liberal views. I love the entertainment. I love sticking with the characters that we know and love and just progressing in a fictional story. Something I love about movies is the escapism, and being able to escape from reality. So it's okay to have real world issues presented in a different way, but when they're completely shoving a ton of beliefs and viewpoints of the real world down your throat, I could take that or leave it. More times than not, leave it, depending on how much it's used. When it comes to stuff like Loki being gender fluid thing, that's not politics really. That's just what they decided for him. That's his character. That's the way he chooses to live. And it's also not something that they're trying to focus completely on. They just put it out there that that's how it is, and they're moving on with it. That doesn't bother me. If they had an entire episode focusing around the fact that that is what he is, maybe I wouldn't enjoy that. But you know what? I think they did it in the most proper way possible. And I mean, I have no issue with it, really. Just do it tastefully. Everything is good in moderation. Don't go overboard with anything, and then we'll be good. It is a mouthful, lol. I sound like a crazy person when I say it way too fast. Wrote a paper on it, and my professor begged me to shorten it to the acronym. You wrote a paper on High School Musical, the musical, the series. I want to see how fast I can say it. High School Musical, the musical. I can't say it. Nope. That's cool though. Yes, grilled cheese with Munster cheese slaps. I need to try that. It's my go-to when I don't want to cook. That's the other thing about it. Like, it's just super easy. Like, it's so easy to make. Whoa, I just hit my microphone. Nothing like grilled cheese and a glass of wine. Oof. For me, it's a glass of grape juice. But I totally feel you. Would you recommend Dunkin' Donuts? If so, what is your favorite donut from there? Okay, so I go to Dunkin' Donuts, but I don't go for the donuts most of the time. I normally just get a caramelized coffee. But I guess if I had to think of my favorite donut, it's the blueberry glazed donut or like a powdered sugar donut with the cream filling. Those are good. Oh, snap. LOL, the camera turned dark. Also, are you butter on the outside of the bread or mayo? I do mayo on the outside, and it gets it perfectly crispy on the outside. You know what? I think I put mayo on the inside and butter on the outside. So I think I have done both before. It's all good, really. Like, I have no complaints either way. It can get really specific, though. Like, it's an art to make a good grilled cheese. Just recently rewatched Shawshank Redemption, one of my top 5 favorite movies. As of right now, it is my favorite movie of all time. I've been thinking whether or not it's going to change or not. There's a couple movies in the running for that #1 spot. I need to watch Shawshank again. Like, I've already seen it a couple times this year. It's due for a third rewatch. But yeah, the movie's outstanding. I hope to one day be able to go to the Ohio State Penitentiary, which is where they filmed the movie. Maybe do a review in it of the film. That's something Chris Stuckman did, so I don't want to just totally like copy his vibe. But that is so cool. That would be so awesome to do. I recommend Chopping Mall. That's another one I've heard of. Thank you. You have all the great recommendations. These are some good ones. I know just from other people and great references that these are, in fact, really good movies. So thank you for the good recommendations. Are you looking forward to the Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart Netflix movie? Did anyone ever think that that would be a question ever asked by anyone in the history of humanity? Because I didn't. I never thought that that would be a question. Am I looking forward to it? Not necessarily. Am I going to watch it? Absolutely. Did you hear that the writers of Loki confirm Owen Wilson won't use his classic "wow" catchphrase in the show? Yeah, I'm quite bummed. I posted a tweet about it when it was announced because I thought it was going to be like maybe have like a really redeeming moment in the finale where he was able to get a jet ski and he'd be like, "Wow, my very own jet ski," or something like that. Do you watch any rom-com shows? Rom-com shows. I'm more of just like a sitcom guy. I don't know if any of the shows I watch are particularly rom-com. They all normally have that romantic aspect in it. Like Friends has a couple romances. New Girl has a couple romances. Stuff like that. So I don't know if I watch anything that's specifically rom-com, but I definitely watch a lot of shows with romance and comedy both in them. Onward or Spies in the Skies? Onward. That's only because I haven't seen Spies in Disguise. Have you watched any movies with Katharine Hepburn? I've seen Breakfast at Tiffany's. I need to watch some more though. Let's see. Where's my collection? Because there's this movie I own with her in it, I'm pretty sure. Wait a second. Here, I got something. So I own this movie called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. It stars Sidney Poitier. That's actually a really cool edition because it's got like a digibook inside of it and stuff like that. But yeah, it stars Sidney Poitier and Katharine Hepburn. So I do own a movie with her in it as well. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is an outstanding movie. Check it out if you haven't already. Okay. I moved my Blu-ray collection. If you guys didn't notice, also sorry if my chair is loud. It used to be behind me. Now it's over here. I've got a different shelf behind me. Also hope you liked a little bit of rearrangement. I was just getting bored with how it was before, and I think it just looks better this way. Justin Halen. 3D died on consumer TVs years ago, but theaters are still pushing 3D despite it reducing the resolution by half and darkening the picture. It looks way worse. I think I've seen a 3D movie once, and I definitely didn't really enjoy my time with it. I think it gave me a headache afterwards. That's the reason I stopped. But yeah, I can definitely see you're not a fan of 3D. Geekly Goods, Leo from Geekly Goods is in here. Guys, if you haven't yet, make sure to check out his channel. He's always pushing out great content. This man is a grinder. The grind never stops with him and his channel, and he's always getting better. Go give him that HBO special, is what he says in every video. Help a brother out special. Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. Great content creator here. I appreciate that. And so are you, my friend. Again, thank you so much for joining. My mom's worse than a Karen. Dude, be careful. Be careful. Do you play Fortnite? I do not. There was like a week or so where I just played with my buddies. But I'm just not a gamer. I'm not a huge gamer, so it sort of lost me pretty quick. I actually think Batman Begins has much better pacing and writing than The Dark Knight. So this Ask Me Anything has turned into a hot take hour because you guys are spitting some straight heat when it comes to the hot takes. They're hot, they're burning, they're flaming. Wow, that is definitely a hot take. What's good, Jaren? Basic Entertainment. Hey, thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you stopping by. Do you hope the Batman will live up to the hype? Absolutely. I hope it does very well. I hope it succeeds and is the best Batman movie we've ever gotten. Just because I never hope for a movie to do bad. I always want them to do good. And something like this, one of the best trailers I've ever seen. The dude I campaigned for to be Batman for so long. Yes, of course I hope it's great. Lucas is in here. Hello. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Just watched a horror comedy called Cooties. Thoughts on it? That's funny because somebody else just mentioned that as well. I haven't seen it. I just came past the Blu-ray not too long ago. I'll probably buy it and watch it soon. I'm very curious. It's definitely intriguing. Favorite 90s slasher? Mine is Scream. I think that's mine as well. What movie studio do you think makes better movies? MGM, Warner Brothers, or Paramount Pictures? They're all really good. If I had to rank them, it'd probably be, let's see, Warner Brothers, MGM, Paramount. Or, okay, I might put Paramount above MGM. The only thing is that I know MGM is attached to James Bond, which I really like. But then Paramount is always pushing out a lot of good movies. Warner Brothers takes the cake, especially this year. They've been the distributor of all the big blockbusters. It's crazy because we always want to dog on them because they've done a lot of people dirty, but they're also really on top of their game, so it's hard. It's like I really hate what they're doing and how they're treating certain people, but I also can't help but watch their movies. So maybe that's a little bit hypocritical on my part, but they are definitely ahead of the game right now. Favorite Pixar or character from Up? Pixar film other than Carl. Mine's either Russell or Doug. Yeah, mine's Russell too. That's sort of a cliche answer, but then again, there's like 4 characters in the movie, 5. So yeah. What's your favorite phase of the MCU and why? Great question. Huh. I think my favorite phase has got to be phase 2. Let me see. Is Captain America and the Winter Soldier phase 2 of the MCU? Let's see what movies are in it. Yeah, so Phase 2 is definitely my favorite because it's got my favorite MCU movie, my second favorite MCU movie, and an MCU movie that is in my top 5, and one of my favorite, which is also, in my opinion, the most underrated. It's got Iron Man 3, which I think is an underrated film. I think at times it's my favorite of the three Iron Man movies. This phase does have the worst MCU movie, in Thor the Dark World, but Captain America the Winter Soldier, they really began to turn a new leaf here, and it's just outstanding. My favorite. Guardians of the Galaxy, something that we never thought would be good, but it exceeded all of our expectations. It also has Avengers Age of Ultron, which I think is better than the first Avengers, and Ant-Man, which is in my top 5. I love that movie. So yeah, I would choose that just because it's got most of the movies in my top 5. You should watch the Three Colors trilogy. Another one I haven't heard of, but I definitely need to check it out. Pulp Fiction is my all-time favorite movie. It's in my top 3. Have you heard of River Phoenix movie called Running on Empty? I have heard of it. I have not seen it. Also, I'm wanting to watch Superman and Lois. Do I wait until it's all out and on Netflix? Or should I catch up ASAP and watch the last few episodes live? Really, either or. I think it might be exciting if you are able to binge it and just get through it really quick. But then again, it's up to you. I think either way, as long as you watch it, I'm going to be happy because I've been trying to urge everyone to go watch that show because it's really, really good. So if you get the chance to, whatever you decide to do, I would just recommend getting on it because it's that good. I recommend Ice Cream Man, Blood Rage, Basket Case, and a true classic, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I've seen Basket Case. Blood Rage I haven't heard of. Ice Cream Man, I know that cover very well. Definitely want to check it out. Breakfast at Tiffany's is Audrey Hepburn. Ah, crap, that's right. That's right, sorry. Ever seen Willow? Yes, I have. I don't know if I love it, but it was enjoyable enough. I think Val Kilmer is pretty good in that lead. Let's see. Do you think that Warner Brothers could still change their minds on Dune's release? At this point, I'd say just keep it how it is. I think they've really found a sweet spot for the release. I think it's a time that is going to be successful. It rolls it out with enough time for more people to get vaccines, but it's also not competing the same week with another huge release. So I think they've found a really good place for the film to stay. I don't see it moving. Have you seen Drill Bit Taylor? Yes, I have. That's another good Owen Wilson movie. Guy at the Movies, Joe from Guy at the Movies, thank you for joining. How many hats do you own? Let's see. I'll count. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 24 hats, but I only wear this one. I don't know what it is about this hat in particular, but it fits my head more. And I unintentionally made it my brand, so I just stick with this one. Imagine if hot takes were a class, I would pass with flying colors. Favorite couple or couples in a superhero movie? Okay. So my number one, like my go-to, is Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Just because Mark Webb knows so well how to craft relationships, he did it in 500 Days of Summer, even though they're not in a relationship, even though it's not necessarily a romance. There was still that energy there and that back and forth between the two characters that worked so well. He carried that over, but into a extremely strong romance between Peter and Gwen. I think that's great. Other superhero movies, I think Henry Cavill and Amy Adams as Clark and Lois are good. But just superhero genre in particular, I really love Lois and Clark in Superman and Lois. That is the best I've seen in any superhero content in quite some time. I love their chemistry. Thoughts on Independence Day, the first one. Again, I think it's a spectacle movie that was pretty cool, but it's not one that's necessarily a favorite of mine. Like, it's fine, but it's not one that I go back and rewatch often. I don't know how I feel about Will Smith being in it either. He just feels sort of out of place. Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. I gotta go with Friday the 13th on this one. I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, the first time 2 years ago, and I was very underwhelmed. I'm not a fan of it. I thought it was pretty cheesy. I also like the reveal in Friday the 13th. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. I'm a huge fan of Willow. Ever seen Stargate? I love Stargate. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I need to watch that one. Any YouTube series you watch, either scripted shows or interview series like Hot Ones. I watch Hot Ones. I watch a podcast called The Tiny Meat Gang, Noel Miller and Cody Ko. I love that show. There's a podcast I watch on YouTube called Raiders of the Lost Podcast. It's just a podcast. I guess if I'm plugging these, I have to plug That So Hollywood as well. My friend Colin Williams does that. I know you asked more for like series. Those are all podcasts. I'm trying to think of a series that I watch, and I can't really think of one. Like, if I watch anything outside of like the normal movie content, it's normally podcasts. So that would have to be my answer. But I do like Hot Ones. I do like that. How are the vaccination? Wait, I want to go back. Jubilee. Have you heard of the channel Jubilee? They do all these different things like who is the secret rich one in the group, or who is the secret fifth grader, and different stuff like that. Like, they answer all this series of questions. They vote each other out. Jubilee, all the stuff that they have on there. I love watching those videos. How are the vaccination rates in your area, Jaren? I think really good. Like, COVID rates are super low. Everyone's out and about doing things again. I know like everyone at my work has gotten vaccinated. So yeah, it's doing pretty good. I wish people online wouldn't make such a big deal over box office and just enjoy movies as they are. The only argument I would say about that is sometimes people are just passionate about box office, because if there's a movie that they really enjoy that has the potential to spark a franchise or get more additions, if the box office fails, there's less likely of a chance of it having expansion or getting another release. But then, of course, other movies like Fast and Furious, even though they're movies that are schlocky, stupid, don't have a great script that critics normally hate, they still get the sequels all the time because fans just go and watch them. They always get guaranteed revenue. So yeah, box office for me is like, when I see a movie like A Quiet Place 2 that is purely one man's vision brought to life, when I see that it does pretty well for this current climate, it gets me excited. If it was to do poorly, I would have hated it. I hate the fact that there's this weird stigma around In the Heights now because it didn't perform to the level that people expected it to, even though it hasn't even released in Latin America yet. But that's just the thing to where, as a fan, I want it to succeed. And however that is, that's going to come from the box office results. So, yeah, I don't think I like work myself up over it. But if a movie I love does well, I'm happy. And if a movie that I love does poorly, it's disappointing. Another hot take: waffles are better than pancakes. You know what? I agree. I agree with you. My favorite superhero movie couples: Peter Parker and Mary Jane, Star-Lord and Gamora, and The Rocketeer and Jenny. Hey, those are good ones. Guy at the movies: show your hair. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go. The Rocketeer is a classic. I love that movie. That's the one with Kurt Russell, right? That Disney movie? No, that's something else. Sorry. I'm thinking of something completely different. I have not seen The Rocketeer. I recommend the Pure Cinema podcast. They recommend great Coen movies. I might have to check that out. The alcoholic mother in Nightmare on Elm Street became unintentionally funny whenever she reached for the huge bottle of wine. I feel like that might have been intentional, but yeah, it's still funny. I know what scene you're talking about. Thoughts on Hellraiser? Haven't watched it. I'm sort of preparing myself to this October. I do the annual October horror specials where I try to review a ton of classic movies. That will be one of them this year, so stay on the lookout. I'm not looking forward to it. What I like to do is listen to Pure Cinema podcasts, write down the movies they mention, research them to see if they're streaming. If not, get interlibrary loans. That's a pretty good strategy. I like that plan. Underrated Netflix movies. I think Take the 10 is underrated. I haven't heard of that one, so I guess it is underrated. One I would recommend is The Platform, a very underrated horror film that's got a wacky concept that I think works for the most part. Ever seen Highlander? No, I haven't, but I know it's getting a remake. I need to go back and rewatch the original, or watch the original. Favorite F-13 movie? Oh, Friday the 13th movie? Friday the 13th Part 6. Just the fact that it doesn't take itself seriously, it's totally wacky, has the James Bond intro, the fact that he gets reignited by this dude who tries to kill him when he's already dead, and then the lightning hits the rod and brings him back to life. It's absurd, but I love it. Did you hear that Willy's Wonderland is getting a comic book? Yeah, that's funny because I just got a notification because I'm friends with Geo Parsons. If you didn't know, I interviewed Geo, my first interview ever, talking about Willy's Wonderland. It's up on the channel. He posted the cover of it, this Willy's Wonderland cover. This is totally out of focus here. If I put it next to my face, you can see. And I said, this I will read. Can't wait to review it on the channel. He said, thank you. I just got that notification. I'm excited for it. I hope it's pretty cool. I'm sure it will be. What I don't like over box office talk is sometimes fans can get cocky and act better than everyone when their movies succeed. Yeah, I don't get that. Like, there's no sense of entitlement. At the end of the day, most of these people talking had no part in making the movie, so there's no point to look down on another movie based off the success of the film that you're rooting for. The petty nature of it all, yeah, I don't get behind that. Have you heard any of Judy Garland's musical numbers other than Over the Rainbow? For example, The Man That Got Away, The Charlie Song, or Embraceable You? My camera cut out again. 1 second. Okay, we're back. I think it's just got a sleep timer. I need to turn that off because that's embarrassing. I think the only one I know from her is Over the Rainbow. I know she's she's in A Star Is Born. I think she's in the first one from the 30s. I'd be curious to go back and listen to that soundtrack and hear her songs in that. But yeah, I think the only one I'm really familiar with is Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I love Tiny Meat Gang, of course. Great minds think alike. Their podcast is amazing, and I love their music too. They have really good music. Like, people are sleeping on their music. I think there's a stigma when YouTubers try to do anything outside of just YouTube. So ultimately, they already have a weight on them, and sort of they're held back to an extent because they're YouTubers making music. Their music is high quality. They take time on it. It's very good. But their podcast is amazing. They have this new studio, guys. If you do or don't watch them, if you haven't watched them in a while, it looks like they're in a spaceship. It's dope. Love their podcast. Jaren, what you said about In the Heights, you're on point. I appreciate that. How about the Guy at the Movies podcast with Joe and Sean that you guest on? That's another one. Go check it out. And yes, Colin, That's So Hollywood are great. Yes, I love Odd One Out, and especially when Cody Ko does the reactions to them. Yeah, that's funny. Cody Ko's, like, anything he does, I don't know. I feel like between the two, though, I'm more of a fan of Noel Miller. Like, Noel Miller has had this running bit, this sort of thing that he has brought up, are like weird foods. And I still think of the story of this one dude who came on and told the story about this Cracker Barrel that he went to and how they got, like, the chicken and dumplings. And the dude was on the toilet for, like, such a long time. And then he got the guy on the channel to interview him. Like, I guess between the two, Noel Miller is more so in my lane of comedy. But him and Cody really complement each other very well. Without spoiling, do you have a favorite scene in the movie Election? I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if I have a favorite scene. Yeah, I'd have to go back and rewatch it too. I watched it like a year ago. It was good, but it didn't stick in my memory for too long. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. The only thing I remember very vividly about that is the jock who was the complete opposite of what you would expect him to be. He was super fun loving, heartwarming, endearing, very respectable and nice, not like a douchebag or anything like that. I remember that character in general. I remember the dark humor of it. Um, but yeah, I don't remember anything in particular when it comes to the scenes that stick out to me. Yeah, it's also a Criterion title. That's definitely one I want to get. If I add it to my collection, it's got to be Criterion. Did you like Dunkirk? Yes, I love Dunkirk. It's probably the movie that got me into war movies. That and Hacksaw Ridge. I love the fact that it's not reliant on dialogue to tell a story, that it's visually narrative in the way that it moves. It tells different perspectives that all come together very well. I think it's visually stunning. Harry Styles is in the movie and he's good. It's a good movie. It's very good, yeah. Top three horror franchises: Halloween, Scream, and the third one is always sort of where I differ. Like I'm not sure where to go with it. Halloween, Scream. What would my third one be? Maybe the Halloween, Scream, and shoot. I love the first two Conjuring movies, so maybe that. I gotta have something better than that. I just can't think of it right now. Like those first two are a lock for me. The third one is definitely the hardest one. Director swap. Shyamalan's Gone Girl or David Fincher's Sixth Sense. That's a good question. I would have to say David Fincher's Sixth Sense. I can't see Shyamalan doing Gone Girl effectively like Fincher. I feel like Fincher could do anybody's movie and make it better. Maybe that's a hot take. So I would have to go with Fincher's Sixth Sense. How many Blu-rays do you have in your collection? I have to do a recount. I hope to do a Blu-ray collection video soon. I keep getting stuff in the mail, so as soon as it like takes a break or it slows down a bit, that's when I'm gonna do my collection video. But I don't want to do like a collection and then the next day get like 3 or 5 more titles. I think the last collection video I did, I have 250. I have way more than that now, so that's all I can really say. Do you hope Warner Media will send you a copy of the Snyder Cut? I was already confirmed for, they already sent me an email confirming that I was going to get the Snyder Cut on 4K early, and this trilogy. There's like a Zack Snyder 4K trilogy box set. It comes with Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman Ultimate Edition, and the Snyder Cut. I'm getting both of those for reviews, so there will be reviews on the channel. It's not until September though, so it's a little ways out, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm very appreciative and grateful that they were able to send that to me, or that they're going to be able to send that to me. Dude, I'm stuttering. Whenever I stutter, I know I need to drink. Something about like doing these live streams for such a long time, it just dries your mouth up. Have you watched the TV show The Doodle Bops? Yeah, I grew up on the Doodle Bops. I remember I used to say that they had spaghetti hair. They sort of freaked me out. They freak me out more so now, though. Like, I don't understand why I liked them then, but I like the music. I like the fact that they sing. I got into it. 3 Criterion titles I own: The Fisher King, Watership Down, and Fantastic Planet. That's great titles. I've seen the covers for all of them. I haven't seen any of those movies. I only have one Criterion, The Breakfast Club, but when the Criterion seal comes up, I'm going to be buying a lot of them then. I hope to go to this used store near me that has Criterions on, they're like $10. They have a ton of them. I'll definitely pick them up there. My goal this year is to get all of the Pixar movies and to grow my Criterion collection. Those are my 2 main objectives. Good night, Jaren. It was nice chatting with you as always. Thank you, Josephine, as always, for stopping by. I appreciate all the questions and all that stuff that you asked and the way you engaged in the conversation. Thank you, as always, for stopping by. Have a good night. Have you heard of Max and Ruby, the show with the talking bunnies? Yep, I watched that. I think, was it every day? It was on that show. What is it called? I think Nickelodeon had this, but it was like there was like a children's version of Nickelodeon, the same thing that the Backyardigans was on. I think Max and Ruby was on there. I watched it like every day. What do you think of the set photos for the Flash movie? People are hating the Supergirl suit, which is unfair. Haven't seen the full movie. I think the set photos look cool. I really would have hoped that we would have saved that for the movie, like not gotten spoiled. Supergirl's suit is super cool. Like, really cool. Sasha Cal as the character, she does very well. She fits the mold. I'm really excited. It's also, you can't judge. It's not fair to judge the way she looks when she's hanging off wires. Like, you can't. There's going to be CGI and all this stuff. Her suit is literally being pulled in different directions. So, of course, it's going to look a bit morphed. People need to chill. Do you think Spider-Man No Way Home will live up? So I have an odd opinion on this. I think Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be really good, but I also think a lot of people are going to be disappointed. That's what happens when speculation is built for so long. People build theories. They build these lists of things that they want to see, and then when it doesn't happen, they subject it to being a bad movie instead of them just having unrealistic expectations. So I definitely think that it will do good. I think it will be good, but I think people will maybe get their hopes up a little bit too much and be let down. Not because of the quality of the movie, but because just unrealistic expectations. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? If you could work on a show/movie franchise you love, which would it be and what role would you want to do? Okay, so I've never even thought about acting, so this is hard for me. Ooh, that's such a good question. That's such a good question. I think I would like to be in the writer's room for Friends if I was able to transport myself back there into the 90s to do that sort of thing, just because I really think they were innovative with their comedy and their approach. Even though it's not acting, but I would like to play the role as maybe a creative director or something like that. That's my thing too, is a lot of the stuff that I would want to do is more so behind the camera. I could see myself being a game show host. Like, I don't know. Or a talk show host. Conan just went off the air. Call Jaren. I don't know. That's a really hard question, but it's really good. It makes me think. That's one I'd have to think about a little bit more. Maybe I gave you some good tidbits there. I don't know. Favorite criterion that you have? Mine would be Dazed and Confused. My absolute favorite one I own. Like, this is my prized possession. Breakfast Club. But that is only because it is the only one I own. This is an outstanding movie, but it has to be my favorite because I don't own another one. Favorite scene in Whiplash? Rushing or dragging, but I also love the scene to where he literally gets whiplash from a car accident and he still comes on to play, and then he messes up big time. But that whole sequence to where he's rushing after he loses the music and he forgets something that has to go back and get it, and then he crashes his car. That sequence is crazy. But I think the one that takes the cake is obviously rushing or dragging. I also love the scene to where he messes up a little bit because Fletcher just totally messes with Neiman and catches him off guard, and he tries to play it off as like Neiman messed up, so he tackles him. That was crazy. One of my favorite movies ever. What was the movie that got you into movies? So there was those ones growing up. Like, I had early obsessions as a child. The first movie I saw in the theater was Cars. It became my biggest obsession. Everything in my life was surrounding cars. What I wore, what was my room was decorated in. Everything about it was Cars. Then I watched High School Musical and High School Musical 2 after they were gifted to me on DVD, and that became my newest obsession. The second movie I ever saw in the theater was High School Musical 3. So that franchise as a whole, I was absolutely just enthralled with. The Toy Story movies had a significant impact on me, but the movie that made me love movies and like look at it from a different perspective, I always accredit that to 2014's Nightcrawler. Jake Gyllenhaal is my favorite actor because of that movie, but also other stuff that he's done. But the fact that I was watching it and I just got so invested and I couldn't understand why, but that gave me the urge to want to investigate more and learn more about it. And I love the fact that it's a movie with the city of Los Angeles plays a very big factor in it as well because it is incredibly lively. It feels like a character of its own. But I also feel like every character around Lou Bloom or Jake Gyllenhaal has significant change while he sort of stays the same. You don't often see the lead of your film or the protagonist not have any sort of change, but in this case, every single supporting character has significant change while he remains the same, but it works. It works so well. I don't know. I could gush about that movie for so long, but that is definitely the movie that got me into them to the extent that I was really researching about different aspects of filmmaking. My favorite Criterion title that I own is probably a tie between Watership Down and Fish Tank. Criterion is definitely known for having those very uniquely titled films. I can't wait to add more to my collection, that's for sure. If you had to choose a food from the Teletubbies to exist in the real world, what would you choose, Tubby Toast or Tubby Custard? Both of those sound disgusting. I guess toast. I like toast. What's a movie that you loved at first, but after a while you started to not like it as much? Yo, my nose is itching. This is like something I see Sean Chandler. He has this issue a lot when he's live streaming. I guess I'm getting to the point in the stream to where it's just my nose is not having it. It is itching a lot. Sorry if I look like a tomato. What's a movie you loved at first, but after a while you started to not like it as much? I will say I watched Spiderman Far From Home. The first time I watched it, I was obsessed with it. I had this thing where I said it was the best MCU movie ever, but then every time I rewatched it, I liked it less and less and less. I think it was just the initial hype and the recency bias of it, but I'm just not a fan of the movie now. Are you on board with Restore the Snyderverse? As much as I wish it would happen, I think Snyder, everyone at Warner Brothers, has kind of confirmed that they're past that and they're moving on. So I don't feel like there's any point to continue to push it forward because if the guy himself is not wanting it to happen, I don't think those who support him should want it to happen either. He was put through a lot of crap with all that stuff, so I think it's best that it's behind him and he's on to better things and doing what he wants to do. Have you watched the Disney sports movies Remember the Titans or Remember the Titans and Miracle? Absolutely. Two of the best sports movies ever made. In particular, Remember the Titans. Ryan Gosling at a young age is also in there. One of Denzel's best performances. Probably my top 2 or 3 favorite sports movies. And Miracle is really good too. I love Kurt Russell and pretty much anything he does, but in particular, the scene where he has them stay after the game and continue to run laps back and forth even after they turn the power out. That scene has really just, it's got a place stitched in my memory. Out of the two, which you're hoping to see more on No Way Home, Toby or Andrew? I'd say Toby. No, sorry, I don't know why I said Toby. Andrew. Andrew is definitely the one I prefer. Andrew is my favorite Spider-Man, so if he came back, that'd be awesome. Okay, guys, I'm going to answer this last bit of, questions that are here, and then I'm going to head out. We've been streaming for about an hour and 15 minutes. Thank you to everyone who's stuck around this entire time. If you haven't yet, make sure to leave a like. It really helps support that algorithm that apparently exists out there. But yeah, let's knock out these last few questions. Cinema Cola, least favorite genre. Least favorite genre, probably period pieces. But then again, there's enough of those that I enjoy quite a bit. If you could travel back in time to the 1940s, what classic actor or actress would you have lunch with? 100% Jimmy Stewart. The dude is a legend. He was in one of the first Western movie I ever watched that I loved, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. He's in one of my top 4 favorite movies of all time, It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and some of the biggest Hitchcock classics known to man, Vertigo, Rear Window, Rope. The dude is so good, and I love his story and the fact that he went off to the war to fight for his country and then came back and just pursued his career in acting and used a lot of that trauma and grief that he had built up from the war in his performances. Everything he did was genuine. He was a pure of heart dude. He's just, I would love to ask him for words of wisdom and just see where he got his strength and his drive from, because the guy was impressive. Yeah, that's God's timing. Conan heading out the door and Jaren heading in. They need somebody to fill that role now. I think it's just, yeah, exactly. It's God's timing. I feel like it's meant to be. Just, I need the studio to hit me up. I'll be there. Another director swap. Hayao Miyazaki, The Iron Giant. Brad Bird, Spirited Away. You know what? I would say Miyazaki's The Iron Giant. I just think his animation style would fit very well with The Iron Giant. Give it a good twist. Maybe actually fit the nature of the story a little bit better. That's the one I would go with. I like Brad Bird, but Miyazaki is great. Favorite line from Darkseid in the Snyder Cut? Mine is, "We will use the old ways." That's mine too. Darkseid's just not one of those that I remember his lines too much, but that is probably the one that stuck out the most. Do you think we will get back to making, or do you think theaters will get back to making money and not having to go bankrupt now that movies are coming back? Yeah, absolutely. As soon as as long as they keep pushing out movies to the theaters are going to continue to make movies or make money. So yeah. Movies and Train Studios. Well, hello, Jaren. Sorry I'm late, and thanks for following me on Letterboxd. Of course. Thank you for joining. My thoughts are the exact same for Far From Home. The second time I watched it, I was super irritated by it. I think it's sort of cringeworthy. I felt like they didn't take themselves seriously to a point that actually harmed them just a bit. And also my favorite actor being Jake Gyllenhaal, I was underwhelmed by his performance as Mysterio. I actually think he did well. I'm just not a huge fan of the direction they took his character. Can you do a Pennywise impression? Let me get a drink first. I can't do the lips. Hiya, Georgie. Do you want a balloon? Do you want a boat? Do you want some popcorn? Pop, 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 pop. Was that terrible? Yeah, that was probably terrible. TBS, which was the network for Conan, is here in Georgia, Jaren. We can convince them. Yes, Turner Broadcasting Center, or station. Yes, I know them very well. I pass them often in Atlanta. Yeah, we can make something happen. Yeah, I think there's a good chance. There's a good chance. Yeah. That would be awesome. Like, I can think of it now. Late Night with Jaren or something like that. That'd be great. But also, respected Conan. Not trying to take away from his legacy. Have you heard of the movie The Bad and the Beautiful? I have not. It just makes me think of the drama The Bold and the Beautiful. That terrible soap opera. Tushy Tickler. First off, I love your profile picture. Second off, your name is wild, but it's fun. Conan. Yes. Last question. Have you watched The Big Sick? Yeah, that's a good movie. It's also based on a true story of Kumail Nanjiani's life, so it works very well. Sasha says also, maybe you've answered this before and I missed it, but what are you majoring in school? I don't know yet. I'm not in college. Um, I'm about to turn 18 on Monday. Just got out of high school. Not sure what I'm gonna do when it comes to college and all that stuff. Right now, I'm working a lot. I want to go to film school or just a school. I've thought about. I guess my ideal thing to do would be major in graphic design and minor in journalism because I like to write and I write for a couple film websites. But graphic design, like, there's a lot of work there, and I already sort of do it with my channel and stuff like that. I think it'd be fun to do. Also, like the plus of being able to freelance while doing college, making money. Um, yeah, that's something I probably want to do, but I just haven't gotten to that yet. Do you like to draw? I do like to draw, but to say I'm good at it is another thing, which I'm not. Thoughts on Seven Samurai? I need to watch it. I haven't seen it. It's one of my biggest uh one of the biggest ones on my watch list that I need to cross off. Before I go, I want to let you know happy early birthday, Jaren. Thank you so much, Nicholas. I appreciate that, as well as Movies and Train Studio. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I'm excited for it. Um, I'm not really like a birthday dude, but hey, 18 is special, I guess. So, yeah. This is the last one. Graphic design and journalism go hand in hand, so that will be awesome. And happy early birthday. Thank you, Sasha. I really appreciate that. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Those are two things that I would love to do. I already sort of love doing them, so I'd like to expand on that. But yeah, that's my hope. That's what I hope to do. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be the end for the stream. We've gone for about an hour and 21 minutes. Again, everyone who's still in here, I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate you contributing to the conversation, asking all the questions, and just engaging with me for this chunk of time. I'm really excited to get back to the live streams. I really missed these the past couple weeks. Stay tuned for a lot of future content coming very, very soon, whether it's physical media reviews, early movie reviews, rankings. Next week, I've got 2 Harry Potter reviews coming. As well as these continued live streams. There's a lot of big stuff coming your way. And also, if you're a fan of Superman and Lois, you can find me here every Tuesday night for a recap of the newest episode of Superman and Lois. So I'm hyped. There's a lot of stuff going down here, and it's exciting, and I'm glad to have you guys sticking around with me. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all later.